So we're off on another Brad and Dad adventure, and we're back here in Temagami. This time, Dad and I are going to be paddling the Obabika Loop, and we're going to be going down through Bob's Lake Conservation Reserve. So this route, a lot of big lake travel, but also kind of, you know, a little less traveled areas. We're going to go through the Bob's Lake Conservation Reserve. But gorgeous evening right now. Looks like the rain's holding off. It's been raining all day. Super humid right now. But we're going to get started on beautiful Lake Temagami. We're just at the Camp Wanapate access point, and we'll see how far we get. Maybe a couple kilometers of paddling before we get to a site. Looks pretty busy here. It's August. This section's always pretty busy, so we might have to paddle a little bit longer to find a site, but I'm really excited for this trip. It should be a great time, and Temagami never disappoints.
Well, like Brad said, Temagami, you know, you can't complain about this. Tonight it looks nice and flat and still, so be good paddle at first sight. And you know, as we get older, Brad and I, we just don't get together and trip as much as we used to. So any opportunity we can get together, head out and do some paddling, I'm all for it. So Temagami, let's go.
This canoe trip takes place in the vast wilderness area of Temagami, Ontario. Our circle route begins and ends at the north end of Lake Temagami. From here, we paddle south, then make our way west to Obabika Lake. Paddling north, we enter a series of small lakes. This takes us to the Bob Lake Conservation Reserve. We then head east back towards Lake Temagami, completing our 50-kilometer loop.
So Ferguson Bay was full of campers. We made our way about 4 kilometers down the shore, and we finally found a free site. Really busy here. The parking lot was full, so not really surprised, but tomorrow we'll obviously put some distance behind us. We only did 4 kilometers. We got to a gorgeous spot, nice canopy of mature red pines, and looking out on the cliffs over there. The sun is about to go down. Well, it's not much of a sunset. It's gray and overcast, but we're gonna get some dinner going and get a fire going and just relax for the night. Yeah, nice start to the trip so far. Yeah, we won't have much of a sunset tonight either.
Good morning. It's our first full day here in Temagami, and this morning it's a bit nasty. It's kind of cool and windy. We went to bed last night. You know, it started rained for a couple hours, but then the wind started, and it was relentless. It just kept up all night, very, very strong, and it's still blowing. I don't know if you can really tell, but out in the lake there, it's pretty wavy, pretty choppy. So, you know, it's going to make for an interesting paddle, that's for sure. But still pretty windy out there. What do you think, Brad? At least the wind's going to be in our favor?
I don't think it's going to be a problem going down the lake. I mean, we might have more of a difficulty later in the day going up Obabika. It's not too bad. It's like...
comes and goes, but...
yeah, this is white cast,
yeah.
But it's half a foot swells. Even going into this is not going to be a problem. It's just going to be slow. So I don't think we're going to have a problem. It just might be a little
yeah
wet at times.
But pretty chilly for August. I mean, it's not supposed to be hot today.
It's supposed to be 25. My hands are frigid right now. I should have brought gloves. And the forecast is calling for like highs of 26, 24. And with that wind chill, it's feeling like 10 degrees right now.
Yeah, it feels like October, November.
Yeah.
But at least it'll be behind us. Shouldn't be too cold. Let's do it.
Yep, sounds good. We're moving at a good clip, I'll tell you that much. Looking at the shoreline.
Yeah, it always helps. Okay, we've come to our first portage. I think it's about 570 meters. Looks, you know, a bit rough right here. I'm not sure what it's going to be as we get going, but we're going to stop and put our hiking boots on and just so it's a little safer. And we got some more people coming down this way, so we'll have to move our gear out of the way. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
How's the trail?
It's not too bad.
Is it kind of like this, or is it smooth out?
It's a little rocky, it's not this bad.
Oh, okay, good, good. Not too bad. Part of the first portage. The trail's in pretty good shape. It's just at the beginning it was a little rough, and who knows what it's going to be like at the end, but so far, so good. Pack's a little lighter than last night because we drank a liter of wine. We just completed our second portage of the day, 870 meters from Lake Temagami into Lake Obabika. And as you can see behind me, it's looking pretty rough. Lots of waves out there, white caps off in the distance. But we just had some lunch here, so we've got some energy. I think we're going to need it for the waves out here.
albeit it's not without extra effort. So we're making our way up a little slower, but we knew it was going to be hard going up here considering we had such a strong tailwind on Lake Temagami. So far so good though.
After more than an hour of fighting strong headwinds, on Lake Obabika. We've come to this little island here where we've come ashore for a little break. Little bay here is nice and calm, and there's a campsite on this island, so we're just going to go check it out and see if it's worth spending the night here. So the campsite looks pretty good here. Got ourselves a fire pit here, lots of spaces over there for setting up the tents, and looks like there's even someone's made a table here out of some 2x6s, good and sturdy, good place to make breakfast in the morning. So I think we'll end up camping here for the night. The forecast calls for calmer winds tomorrow, so as we head north on the lake, it should be a much easier paddle.
I'll also blow my air mattress up and see how much it deflates. I mean, sometimes you think it's deflating and you just forgot to shut the valve all the way or something too. Yep, had that a couple times. Where's the pinprick? On a stupid pine cone or pine needle. So tonight's dinner is tacos. It was supposed to be fish tacos, but I went fishing for about an hour, didn't catch anything, not even a nibble. There was one fish chasing my lure for a split second, that's it. So a little disappointing. It's super windy out there, so I wanted to maybe do some trolling, but you're gonna get blown halfway down the lake if you try going fishing. So did some stuff offshore, didn't really get anything obviously. But fear not, because we have a bunch of dehydrated beef. Made some fresh guacamole, which is gonna be pretty dang tasty. We've got cilantro, hot peppers, cheese, refried beans, taco sauce, you name it, it's gonna be a real good fiesta. But this is also gonna save down some weight for tomorrow too, because tomorrow we have a lot of portages, at least 6. Some of them are a little shorter though, but it's probably gonna be a little more rugged because we're gonna be leaving behind one of Temagami's most popular loops and starting to go into an area where less people travel. So anyways, regardless, tacos, it's gonna be delicious. Well, voila, loaded taco. Temagami taco.
Dinner with a view. Can't complain about that.
Well, it's a gorgeous calm morning out here on Obabika Lake. We're going to be paddling north up to Chichikon Lake today, check out some of the old growth triangle trails of the Wakimiko Triangle, and then we're going to be doing a series of lesser travel but still well used portages through Bob's Lake Conservation Reserve. We'll be going through a lot of smaller lakes, really short little portage and paddle hops, and hopefully we'll have those little private lakes all to ourselves. Gorgeous day though, absolutely amazing. Yesterday the morning felt like November. Today, hot, sunny, amazing.
A little easier paddling today compared to yesterday. We had those crazy headwinds we were fighting yesterday with the big waves and the big chop. As you can see today, it is a lot calmer. Now there's a slight breeze blowing, but it is hot, clear day, so that breeze is just enough to cool us off as we head north here on the Obabika Lake. Gorgeous beach location at the north end of the lake, but we're not here to camp. This is the first of many portages today. This one I think is just over 700 meters.
Oh, except he's walking in sand. It's so tricky sometimes. Oh.
Whew, just did a real steep section, and I'd be lying if I said this was easy, because I mean, portage is easy, but this one's a little steep. I know Brad's way ahead of me, but I'm just taking my time. I'll catch up eventually. Oh, it seems it's uphill, uphill, and more uphill.
With Obabika Lake now behind us, we paddled north through a series of small, scenic lakes dominated by tall pine trees and rocky cliffs.
boat as a stability piece here. Let's see, I sink. Push myself back out. Hopefully some firmer ground. The further back we get, the firmer it's gonna get.
Now, we were fully aware that today's travels would involve at least half a dozen portages. But this one, well, it turned out to be less of a trail and more of a grunt and grind endeavor as we found ourselves dragging our loaded boat across a very mucky bog mat.
Look, some rocks.
Holy. Wow, that's strong. That's strong suction. Whew. So we're at this portage, which is marked on a tree over there, but there's all this bog material. We think that the water levels are lower than normal because there is a channel here, but it is just guck. I tried to get out. I went up to my knees. The only way is we were able to drag the boat slowly across this bog mat, and we're almost at the shore here, so hopefully that is the worst of it. Whew!
Gotta love those Temagami old growth pines. Just a magical place here. There's a big hill.
I'm getting too old for this, you know.
You paddle your way down. Well, a very steep end on the 1,000-meter portage from James to Virginia Lake, and you can see why with this waterfall here just tumbling over the rocks. A lot of old growth red and white pine through here, massive trees. A really cool spot with the waterfall and the towering canopy. Worth the effort.
Well, it's been quite the day. Paddling wise, we put in about 14 kilometers, but portages, more than 4K of portages altogether. The longest one being just over a kilometer. And the worst one was that bog we had to go through. It was just absolutely horrible. The lake level must have dropped, and I went up to my knees at one point in the muck. It was a real mess. But we actually went a little further than we wanted to. One of the lakes we wanted to stop on, there was someone already camped there, so we had to come a little further, another portage, but we're on this fine spot tonight. Got the fire going down here. Brad's just gonna cook up some black bean burgers, so looking forward to having a nice meal after a long day.
Beautiful Thunderhead Lake. Absolutely gorgeous. We're getting into the evening hours now. Got to camp a little later because we did get a later start for the day, but gorgeous slice of Temagami coming through the Bob's Lake Conservation Reserve. A lot of these lakes are very, very clear, so it's almost like you're paddling through the clouds. All these lakes have just one site on them, so you're almost guaranteed privacy if you have it all to yourself, and we do here, so perfect night. You know, we got here a little later, like I said, but late start to the day, so not a problem. We're gonna sit back, relax, enjoy some black bean burgers for dinner tonight, and watch the sunset. Another perfect evening out here in Temagami. Forest around here is just lush with mature red, white, and jack pine. There's a little bit of hardwoods peppered throughout here, but really it's just a paradise of conifers. Absolutely gorgeous. And these tiny little lakes, at most, are about 1 kilometer long, are just quaint. Nice, sheltered, and feels very, very enclosed. You have a real sense of solitude out here. So we got a loaded black bean burger with old Gouda cheese, the patty. We got some ketchup mustard, a grilled jalapeno, some grilled peppers and onions, shredded cabbage. Oh yeah. So, black bean.
Delicious. Yeah. Tastes like meat.
Mmm.
That's gorgeous view.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good morning. Day 4 here in gorgeous Temagami. Just look at this lake behind me. Woke up to that sight this morning. Nice clear blue sky. Now, mind you, it got pretty chilly last night. But you know, we warm our sleeping bags, and today it's a shorter paddle out. We only have 2 portages and about 10 or 11 kilometers of paddling before we end this epic trip.
This little chain of lakes is a nice little alternative for doing the popular Diamond Wakimaka loop. And as we were paddling through Obabika and Temagami, there was lots of paddlers we met on some of the portages who were doing that route. And rightly so, it's a gorgeous slice of Temagami. But if you're up for a little more of a challenge, wanting to do some longer, harder portages, the chain of lakes through Bob's Lake Conservation Reserve are really worth it. But yeah, today is a short paddle, 12 kilometers, 2 portages. And we're back to the vehicles, and that'll conclude another amazing trip through the wilds of Temagami.
During our 4-day canoe trip in Temagami, Brad and I covered a total distance of about 50 kilometers. 6 of those kilometers were on land as we traversed 11 separate portages. Was it worth the effort? Yes, indeed. It certainly was.